Hello, welcome to my channel, to Smart Family Homestead. Today we're going to make some yogurt. So here I've got 5 litres of milk and we're going to make yogurt. So follow along with me if you like. So we're just going to push the ladle in a little bit. Just pop the edge under the cream line just a smidgen so that cream comes in and not milk. I'm just about done because I forgot to show you and I did it without showing you. I'm not going to get much more cream, and in fact I don't want much more cream because I want to leave some cream in with the milk. That's it. Then we pour it into the jar. And then I mix up everything else that's there. That's not too bad. Out of that 5 litres of milk, I've got about, this is a 600ml bottle, number 27, I think. No, number 20 Fowler's jar, which is about 600 mils. So I've got about 600 mils of cream that I've skimmed off the top of that 5 litres of milk. So it's not a very high cream line, but it's enough. It's not really enough to keep us in butter, but it's enough to keep us in sour cream and pouring cream. And hopefully we'll get some cream cheese made out of it as well. So I'm just going to pop a lid on this, being that this is a Fowler's jar and not a screw top lid like a mason jar. I need to pop a ring on so that it is actually sealed. And lid and lid. Right on it. Oh, got sour cream written on there. I'll just rub off the sour cream. Leave it with cream. Put today's date on it so I know I made it. There we go. That can go in the fridge, ready to be used as sour cream. Here's what I've been souring already. This is my sour cream. I started that on the 11th, so yesterday morning, and it is now just about ready. It's thicker, but it's not quite thick enough, so that'll be ready to go in the fridge tonight. As sour cream, you can smell it starting to get that sour, sweet sour smell about it. And all you do to make sour cream, all I do, is I get a spoonful of last lot of sour cream, about, for this, again, this is, oh golly, I think this is 400 mils. Yep, this is about 400 mils of cream in this one. And I get about, I've put 2 teaspoons in this one yesterday from the last lot of sour cream that I made. And I'll put it on the bench, and it's that simple. And I don't tighten the lid, I just leave it loose so air can get in there, but it is sitting on there. And that's all I do. Now we'll start to make the yogurt and see how we go with that. Okay, so making yogurt, here we go. We need, I make my yogurt in 2 litre tubs. I know most people like to put them in glass jars, but this works for our family. So I use old 2 kilo tubs of yogurt, and I pour yogurt. I make yogurt and set it in here. And so that fits perfectly in the container that I set it in overnight. And that's why I use plastic containers, because it fits perfectly. So to make 2 kilos of yogurt, you need 2 litres of milk. So I'm just going to pour in 2 litres of milk. Make sure your pot's clean. That's 1. 2, and I'm actually going to make 2 tubs of yogurt today. So I need 4 litres, so I'll double that. Four litres of milk in this pot, and I'll put that on the stove and I bring it up to temperature, which is 82 degrees Celsius. I think that's 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Or if you don't have a thermometer to test it with, you can just test it until it starts to bubble and just forms a skin on top, and then you can turn it off and let it cool down. I'm just going to bring it to temperature now on the stove and give it a bit of a stir as we go. And here it is on the stove coming to temperature. You can see it's only at 40 degrees Fahrenheit and about 5 degrees Celsius at the moment. So it's got a long way to go till we get to 82 degrees Celsius. And it's reached its temperature. It's actually a little bit high, but it's just in the range, just at 90 degrees, which is the highest we can go. I got a bit sidetracked and forgot to keep my eye on it. So right now, I've pulled it off the stove and popped it in the sink, and I'm filling up the sink with cold water to help bring the temperature down quickly, as quickly as we can. It doesn't need to come down quickly, but I wanted to make sure it doesn't heat up any more than the 90 I've got to Celsius. And I also want to get on with making the yogurt. So rather than sitting here waiting for it to cool down in a warm kitchen, I'm putting it in cold water. You can also put ice around it inside the tub. You can just sit on the bench and wait until it cools down to temperature. First, I've got to scoop off some of the skin that has formed. I'll scooped off a bit, but I will scoop off some more as it cools. There we go. It's pretty well done. And what has it reached now? Let's have a look. Just keep the stick off the bottom of the pot just a little. We need to cool it down to 50 degrees, and it's currently still just above 75 Celsius, right on 75 Celsius. So we'll start to cool down. That's cooled down 25 degrees already. So that's good. All right, I'm just going to pop my little thermometer on the side so I can keep my eye on it as I walk around and do other things in and around the kitchen while I'm waiting for that to cool down. Now, as you can see, we're down to just below the 50 degrees, so that's fine. It doesn't matter if it gets cooler, it just has to get to at least the 50 degrees, because once you put the starter culture in there, if it's above 50 degrees, then it will actually kill the starter culture and it won't set up, it won't ferment and make yogurt. And it needs to get to the 80 degrees specifically because this is raw milk. In order to pasteurize it, it's low temp pasteurization, getting it to 80 degrees. It's just enough to kill off any bacteria that's going to change the flavors and things like that. So it's not actually fully raw anymore once we do heat it to the 80 degrees, because it is a low temperature pasteurization, but it is a low temperature, so it's a good compromise at this point in time for me. Okay, so now pull out some of the milk that we've warmed up and cooled back down again. Because it's for 2 litres, we pull out 1 cup of milk and put in half a cup of yogurt. So that's just any yogurt from a previous batch. This is actually a shop bought one because I haven't had homemade yogurt for a while. Because I'm making 4 litres of yogurt, so I've had to scrape out the dregs, and I am still scraping the last of it out to make sure I get all of it. And you just mix that in with your milk that you've pulled out separate. We don't actually mix it. You pour it into your milk, And then, without actually mixing it, we're just going to give it a bit of a swirl, like just to incorporate it a little bit together. And that's it. That's all we do. We don't want to, we just want to break up the yogurt so that it's mixed right throughout that 1 cup. Well, this is 2 cups of yogurt, of milk. We just want to break it up so that when I pour it back into the pot, it will mix throughout the whole pot of milk, and then I can pour it into the different containers that I need to pour it into. So now that's pretty well split. Just going to pour that back into my pot that had the milk in, which temperature is now down to 35 degrees Celsius. And I'll get the last of it out because, again, like I said, I've got very short on yogurt today. Apparently I didn't keep enough aside, and that's life. Hopefully it will still be enough to hold it up. If it doesn't, you can always thicken it a little bit with some gelatin. And that's basically it. And now we pour it into our containers. So I'm actually going to scoop it, just so that I can make sure as I'm scooping that I get some yogurt. So I'm also going to put it in 3 or 4 of these Rex jars, which are 1 litre jars, I think close to 1 litre. So I'm going to do that now. I take out all of the shelves in my new cabinet dehydrator and put this in on the bottom. It should be high enough. If I take out everything, the jar will be small enough to fit in my cabinet dehydrator. I'll actually just pour into this bucket. And we're done. That's 4 litres of milk and 4 litres of yogurt. So now we pop the lids on. Pop the clips on those so they don't leak. So these are a 3-piece system as well. So you have the orange seal and the glass lid, and then the individual clips that go on to hold it in place while we cook or whatever. And then you take off those clips when you store it, just as you would a big clip for a Fowler's jar or the ring for a mason jar. There we go, we've got all 3 jars. So we've got the 2 litre plastic tub and the 2 1 litre glass jars, and we'll see how that goes. We'll put them in their yogurt incubation areas now, and let's see how they go. Okay, so what I do first is I pop my tub in there, and you can see how beautifully that just fits inside the inner pot of the dream pot. And then I run the water, making sure it's hot as it can get. And I find that's a beautiful temperature. And then move that jar to the side, and I just pour the water in till it just comes below the rim of the tub. And I find that is enough heat to keep it set or warm all night and set. And just about there. There we go. There. And then I literally pop this whole container, the whole inner pot, inside the Instant Pot. Pop the lid on, and you want to work fairly quickly because you want to keep that heat in there. And I put the lid on. Now, that is sitting on my stove. But what I will do is I bring it over and I just put it right there next to the coffee machine. So in the morning when I get up and make coffee for my husband, I see it and I remember that I have to sort that out. Okay, now we're going to take one of these jars, this one, and we're going to put this one in my cabinet dehydrator. Into my cabinet, which I'm going to have to take out. I've got hawthorn berries in that are dehydrating. I forgot about, so I'll take those out. Do you ever do that? Come in to use your dehydrator or something and find, oh no, it's full of something else. So it's also, the bottom is very dirty. So I'm just going to quickly vacuum all that out. Okay, so I've just turned my dehydrator on and yogurt is inside it finally. And it's going, yay. So now we just need to set the temperature for, well, we don't need to because when I turn it on, it automatically comes on at 70 degrees Celsius, which is 110 Fahrenheit for you guys. And yeah, 110 Fahrenheit, which is 70 Celsius. And then I just need to change the length. Oops. I'm going to check it at 8 hours and we'll see how that goes. I've got it on fast mode, which means I've got 2 fans in my dehydrator. My dehydrator is the BioChef brand, and it's got 2 fans in the back, so I can run it at either a high speed or a low speed, and that just reduces, running it fast, which runs both the fans, means it uses less time to dehydrate, but I can also run 1 fan if I've got something very light like greens, things that are very, very light, petals and things like that that are going to blow around by 2 fans. I can run them with 1 fan and it won't be as turbulent in there and it'll be more settled, but also it will reduce the amount of power I'm drawing for each hour. However, I will obviously be drawing the power for a longer period of time if I'm using it on regular setting. I'm going to trial in my Instant Pot. I've got it on the yogurt setting. I've got 1 kilo of yogurt in the glassware jar inside it and 3 litres of water in it as the incubation. And so I'm putting this on. Doesn't come to pressure. I haven't seen this version done before. I've only seen it cooked in a pot directly, not in a glass jar separately. So don't know if it's going to work, but we'll give it a go and see. So I'll check it in 8 hours and we'll see if it's ready.